It is really late. It's 11:30 p.m. But of course, I remember more things. One of them being something that my father did to me, go figure, and just like a bunch of other shit. Because I have really bad memory. My memory has been really weird and kind of spotty for the past few years. So I'm going to try and recall things as best as I possibly can, but my memory's like not doing so well. So it'll be a little bit difficult for me to try and tell everybody like the exact events because I don't remember everything perfectly. So let's start with the thing with my dad. So I was laying in bed earlier today, and the choice, but it's gonna be 10, so today could be yesterday. So I'm just going to say I was laying in bed, in my mom's bed, and I was thinking, kind of just laying there and thinking, because I couldn't fall asleep, so I was just laying there thinking about life, and I happened to just start thinking about Anthony. And whilst thinking about Anthony, I remembered punishment. So of course, I was yelled at, I was spanked, and hit with wooden spoons. But that wasn't it, because I remembered, like, very vaguely, I remembered, like, the sound of belts and being hit with said belt. And so I asked my mom about it, and she said that she only spanked me and my brother, and she didn't remember hitting us with a belt, but my father might have. So I asked my brother, and he said that he remembered that happening too. So my memory isn't faulty, and it actually has happened, because I do remember being hit with a belt and being threatened to be hit with a belt. So would explain a lot. And I knew he had done more than just spank us, so at least I figured it out. But that's just the thing that I remembered. And I think he did it on a few occasions. Maybe he only hit us a few times with the actual belt, but most of the time he was just threatening to hit us with said belt. And it hurt a lot. And he would only do it when my mother wasn't home, so she never figured that out. And I had told this before, but the wooden spoon thing, that was my grandfather, and he never told my mother about that either, because I'm pretty sure he knew she would get mad. And it's because of the way he grew up. He thought it was okay to hit people to hit their children, but things have changed, and he's dead, so it's not that big of a deal anymore. But my grandmother, she never really hit us with a wooden spoon, so that's good. But she did threaten to wash our mouths out with soap, and I'm not quite sure if she did that or not. I remember eating soap, but I don't think that was her actually washing our mouths out with soap. But on the subject of my grandmother, I actually remember she wanted me to try some onion, and I thought maybe it was cooked, and she had just finished taking the skin off the onion, and she put it in my face, and she's like, try this, and I took a big old bite of the raw onion, and it was so nasty. And I just thought that for the whole time I just hated onions, because when I was little I tried onion and I didn't like it. And then again, it was a raw onion that she literally just finished taking all that weird skin off. So that would explain that. But it's just making me laugh a little bit just because I remember that. Obviously, my childhood wasn't all bad memories, but a lot of it was unpleasant, especially because my family definitely didn't have a very good source of income, and because I wasn't treated properly. So, yeah, there's that. And there's a lot about me that probably a lot of people wouldn't like, especially since I have really dark thoughts and urges, and of course everybody does, but mine are quite unusual and they happen more often than not. And I would probably do them without feeling remorse for the actions. And I know a lot of people probably wouldn't understand, but I understand that right from wrong. I do. I understand if I killed somebody, that's wrong, but in the end, I probably wouldn't actually care too much. And that's one of the things I would say is probably not normal. And this definitely came into play when I was younger, especially because I was bullied for being different, because I act quite normally, and so a lot of people didn't like me because I was that weird kid. And bullying got really bad for a few days in 8th grade, I believe. This was when I had actually just come out as trans, and I told some people in my class, and some of the boys in the class had picked up on that, and so they started to tease me about it, and that wasn't fun because at the time I was very new to the whole transgender thing, so I was really vulnerable because I knew for a fact that some people might try and pick on me for that kind of thing. And of course I was right, and I did get picked on for that. And so I would sit in the back of the class, and sometimes I would walk up to the water fountain to get water, and the boys would start teasing me. And they would say things about what I was wearing and what I looked like, and that deep down I wasn't really a boy, and it really hurt. I almost cried in class before because of it. And eventually I had enough of them fucking picking on me, so I told the counselor, and one of the boys got suspended. So he got what the fuck he deserved. And they picked on me again, so that's good. I'm thinking of another time I was picked on. This was in 6th or 7th grade, and we had to write a haiku, I believe, and everybody could pick their own little thing to write the haiku on. And because I had depression at the time, I decided to write mine on depression. And everybody's was made on a PowerPoint slide and sent to the teacher, and the teacher put them all together on a PowerPoint slide. And so everybody was sitting in class, and when mine pulled up, people started saying pretty rude things about it, because they didn't actually read the haiku, they just read the title, and so they started saying, "Wow, thanks, now I'm depressed, wow, I'm all sad now, thank you very much." And they just started picking on me for that, and it fucking really bugged me, because I was being basically put down for letting my emotions out in a way that wasn't necessarily bad. And I almost cried in class, and so the assistant teacher, because the class had the normal teacher and the assistant teacher had to comfort me while everybody picked on me. And so yeah, that was fun. I can't think of any more times I was bullied. I know for a fact that I was, but I can't remember them clearly. Can't think of anything else right now that I can remember, but now that I'm thinking about school, because all this happened at school, obviously, I'm thinking about, times when I had crushes, I guess, quote unquote. I'm not a big fan of dating males, I guess, because a lot of the time males were people that hurt me in my life, and I just didn't trust them enough. But I would still date them in school because that was considered normal, and I knew at the time I wasn't straight. That was obvious to me, but I didn't know what was going on, so I dated boys because I wanted to seem like I was normal. And in New Jersey, a lot of people are kind of backwards, and they don't really, a lot of people are religious, that's a thing I know. And so, it was hard for me to eventually come out to anybody because I was afraid I would be disowned and people wouldn't be my friend anymore just because of something that I do not control of myself. Pardon me. I guess technically now identify as pansexual or panromantic. And that's because I don't generally care about somebody's gender when I date them. I like them for who they are. But generally, I like transgender guys and females compared to others. So that's what I prefer, but I'm willing to date other people because I don't mind. So I identify as pansexual. And the transgender thing is just how I've felt for a long time. And I'm still technically gender fluid, but I prefer to be mainly male now just because it feels comfortable, it feels better for me, and it feels right, and it makes me happy to say that's who I am. So I'm sticking with gender fluid and male for the time being because that is how I felt for a long time, and it feels right. It feels right. So that's good. Currently, I am taking antidepressants. I already said this before, I think. But I also took this little test, like a mental evaluation test, from a psychiatrist, and it won't give me exact a diagnosis, but it will try and like help me figure out things because I'm afraid I might have a few other disorders other than depression. And the medication I'm taking right now, what is it? What is this? I don't know what this is. It's antidepressants, and my therapist gave these to me because my depression is super bad. Hold on, I'm reading the bottle. This is sertraline. Oh, it's Zoloft. Okay. Yeah, Zoloft, and it's it works pretty well because I haven't been depressed like I used to be ever since I started taking the medication. So it works fucking wonders, and I've never, in a long time, I haven't actually felt well. And it was just super normal for me to feel shitty and down a lot, so I'm super happy to have this medication now, and I totally got off track, and I do not remember what I was talking about before. So that's great. Like I said, my memory is not good. So if I repeat things, it's because I don't remember the rest of them. My memory is super shit. I don't even remember what I did yesterday, to be honest. I don't remember what I ate yesterday. I hardly remember what I even did yesterday. And everything's kind of fuzzy, so that's great. I also feel super dissociated with myself, I guess. And that's probably because of the trans thing. I just don't feel like I'm myself, and I think that's kind of normal for me. But then I also have these moods, and I feel like a different person. And I have this character named Seven. They represent me when I'm in my moods, my angry moods, my hyper moods, my sad moods, things like that. They represent those kinds of things. And sometimes I feel like that's who I am at the time. So it's not a voice I hear. It's not something that I see. But I have heard things and seen things before. I'll get to that in a minute, but I don't hear nor see Seven. They exist only within my imagination. So they don't really genuinely exist. And now that I'm trying to, fuck, what was it that I was talking about? Oh, okay, I remember now. Sorry. I have seen things, and I've heard things. I've heard different voices. I've heard, and I've also seen things that weren't really there. And now these voices were different people's that I've never heard before. And they didn't say anything necessarily bad, but it mostly just calling out my name and saying random things to me. And I mostly heard them when I was younger. And that was about it. Nothing. I didn't hear much. I don't hear them much anymore, so that's good, I guess. I'm not quite sure what that was, but I would hear them quite frequently when I was younger, just saying my name. Random people, different gender, different age. And it would happen randomly. Like, I would be alone and nothing else would be there, and I would hear people say my name. I'm sorry, my throat's dry, so I'm drinking tea. But anywho, in the seeing thing, I have seen things before that nobody else would see or hear. Oh yeah, another thing that I would hear is, sometimes I would hear, footsteps that weren't really there. And it was like weird. It wasn't necessarily footsteps, it was like a really, I don't know how to explain it. It sounded like footsteps, but it was more like a really like deep tone tapping. I can't explain what it sounded like, but I would hear that sometimes. And that's about it for the hearing piece, but I would see things too. I wouldn't just hear things, sometimes I would see things. And I actually have 2 things drawn in a notebook. Oh yeah, that's nice to look at. But basically, these were 2 drawings of things I had seen before. They're mostly shadowy figures, and sometimes I still see stuff out of the corner of my eye. That's the only thing that has stuck with me, is seeing stuff. I still see stuff sometimes. And it could be faces of people that I've never seen before. It also could be shadows that I see out of the corner of my eye. Basically, these are 2 things that I've seen before, and they went away rather quickly, mostly because I blinked and I eventually went away. But one of them, the earliest one that I remember was, I was with some friends. We were throwing rocks at a door. I don't know why, but I think it's because nobody lived in the house, so we were like, yep, let's do that. And so we were throwing rocks at the door, and while we were throwing them, I could have sworn I saw 2 people walk by the door, and they were white figures. And I looked at it, and I'm like, did anybody else see that? And everybody kind of looked at me weird because nobody else saw what I did. And so they're like, no. I'm like, come on, you had to have seen it. It was right there. Everybody was staring when I was looking, so that's great. Nobody else saw that. Next one that I can remember is, I was standing in front of my pantry, because we had a pantry, and it was like a big old closet that you put your food in, and there's a big closet kind of thing that we had in our old apartment, which is part of Jersey, and we were going to go out and eat dinner, I believe, and I was staring into the pantry. The lights in the pantry were turned off, but all the other lights were on, so there was a little bit of light in there, and when I looked into the room, I saw a man standing in the corner. And he was super tall, and he was as tall from the floor to the ceiling. So he was like 7 or 8 feet tall, standing in there. And then I looked away, and he was gone. And I don't remember seeing anything after that, so that's good. But one of the more recent things was back in the old condo that we lived in, and it was here in Washington. It was a few months before I moved to the house I'm in currently. So I was sleeping, or I was trying to sleep anyway, and I was laying in my bed with my light on, and I was looking into the closet, and I was just looking into the closet, and when I was looking, a woman with long black hair poked her head out from behind this little thing I had hanging in my closet that holds clothes. And no, it was not the thing because it was it's a square. It's like a rectangle, and this was literally a full human figure poking its head out from behind the thing. And I stared at it, and it wouldn't go away no matter what I did. I blinked, and I looked away, and it wasn't going away. It was just staying there. And I turned the light back on. I turned the light on, and it was gone. I turned it off, and it was gone. So I got freaked out, and I ran out of the room, and I slept in my mom's room for the night. I never saw it again. It was only a one-time thing. And there was nothing behind the hanging thing that could have actually, that was actually there to make me see that sort of thing. But, that was that, and I haven't seen that one again. And things that happened way more recently is, I saw a face on glass door. I don't know what it was, but all the lights were on, so it freaked me the fuck out because I thought somebody was there. And the one that I actually have that's reoccurring is so I have the hall light on sometimes, and so I'll go out of my room and I'll walk past, and I have to walk past the stairwell to get to the bathroom. And so I walk past, and out of the corner of my eye, I swear I can see somebody standing at the bottom of the stairs. And when I look there, of course, nobody's actually there. So it really freaks me out because it makes me feel paranoid, and then I get the sense of being watched. Like I'm getting that kind of feeling right now. I feel like I'm being watched, or like there's somebody right behind me, so that's great. And nobody's actually there, of course, when I look there, but it freaks me out, and that's why I can't sleep with the lights off, because if it's dark, I start to hallucinate, and I don't like it, because it makes me really paranoid. And so that's why I don't sleep with the lights off anymore. And, oh shit, I was thinking about something, I can't fucking remember. What the fuck? I can't remember what the hell I was thinking about. Damn it. Fuck. Oh god. Can't even remember what the hell I was thinking about. God, fuck. Well, that's great, at least. It was important, I know it was. God, was it? No, you don't, it's okay, I'll try and think of it later. So I also, it was just the fear of pipes, because I'm afraid of pipes. I don't know why, I just am. And the other thing I want to talk about is, I have, post-traumatic stress disorder, as I've said before, and so, I have dreams, not necessarily nightmares, but dreams about people of my past and past events. So it isn't necessarily things that they actually did, but it might be over-exaggerated or similar events that have happened in my past that were in the dreams. And one of them I can recall specifically is I had a dream about this house that I hadn't been in before, like in dreams, not actually in real life. And so in this dream house, my father, Anthony, he was there with me, and he was a racist, a verbally, physically abusive piece of shit that I lived with there. And near the end of the dream, he tried to shoot me, and I ended up pushing him off a balcony and watching him splat in the concrete. And at the very end of the dream, like right when it was ending, I was standing on a balcony with this boy that I've never seen before, and he asked me what the view reminded him of, and I looked over the balcony, and I told him that it reminded me of when I murdered my father. And he kind of just looked at me, and he didn't say anything. And that's where the dream ended, from what I can remember. And in the dream, killing him felt so sweet to me, because I absolutely despise Anthony. He really ruined my childhood, and I'm never gonna really forgive him for what he did. I'm going to get over it eventually, but I'm not going to forgive him, because if you ruin one chance, I feel like you don't deserve another one, because I know from experience that people are going to continue to manipulate and hurt you if they know they can, which is why I'm afraid to give anybody a second chance, because I know for a fact that people are backwards and they don't care who gets hurt in the end. So I just don't want to keep living through that. I know being hurt is part of life and all, but I don't feel like going through that as much as I used to, because I don't want to be used anymore. I'm tired of being used, because it's happened so much before, and I know I can stop it if I try. If I just am with the right people, I know that I won't keep getting hurt. And this is the third part, and I finally got to it, so I'm happy about that. I'm gonna end it right here because I don't have anything else on my mind currently, so next time I do, I'll make another video, but just, I guess, stay tuned for that one.